What?
Okay. Well, I'll call the meeting to order. Thank everybody for coming here tonight. Have everybody had a chance to read through the minutes of the last meeting?
Yeah.
So, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, Bill. There's a copy with my signature.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start down through the agenda here. Financials, a couple expenditures we need to approve.
And I have one additional one. We have Layman 62480 for some clay fill in some low spots after they got the field done. Aggregates with sand to put around the field. I don't know how they do that, but that's what it was for. And I just got one today from Amazon for cameras for $510.12. That's all the bills I've had since the last meeting.
500 what?
510, 12.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to approve the payment of the bills.
All motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Might as well scoot over here. There's
I was going to say, we don't bite.
no point being over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Playground, or the update on the diamond, drinking fountains in, and they put a place on it where you can fill a bottle.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So that if you bring your own bottle, you can fill it from there. Overhead screen, they're still waiting on. Infield's all done, lights are all up, and they just got the cameras sometime, and they were mounting them today.
Awesome.
Thought they'd have one to watch each of the playground equipments, and they're hoping they could get the drinking fountain in with it, and one to watch the concession stand.
Good.
So they're going to install them and figure out how to use them. So
Okay.
that's just kind of all done.
All right.
I contacted Nick Baumgartner to get with him and set up for the bids, quotes, whatever we have to do. Redevelopment commissions are by statute an independent organization from the town.
Okay.
We have to have our own attorney. That can be him, or it can be somebody else. My recommendation, Baumgartner's does the work for the town, that we go with Baumgartner attorneys. His fee is, I think he said $250. So, I need
You want to make that motion?
motion, discussion, whatever.
Okay. Do you want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion, we get legal counsel from Baumgartner attorneys.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and then under that, I have, I got each of you a guideline for quotes of things that I thought we needed to have on there. I put myself as the contact, and if somebody else would like to do that, I have no objections if you want to.
I love to have Bill as the contact.
Okay. Under the pavilion, the handicap ramp, I put a note on here, needs to come out the north side, and I'll have to figure out how to make sure the paving people and the pavilion people know they have to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume I'll get to talk to them when they're doing it. We can work those things out. Locations where I said it was going to be last time, you follow the third baseline and go 40 feet from the fence, that'll be the northeast corner. So it'll run south from that.
Yeah, I'm totally confused on that part.
You got
The third base line, did you keep going south?
Third base line runs north and south.
Right, and you keep going south past home plate, and you just keep going another 40 feet
To the fence, and then 40 feet past the fence.
past fence, okay, and
That
that's
kind of keeps you away from the bleachers that are there.
Mhm. And it's not kind of close enough to the playground, or it's
The playground equipment's
further
50 feet
east.
or so north of that,
Okay.
at least.
Okay.
The entrance, we said limestone veneer. I put in your packet, I stole from Canover Park, our trails, how they've got their lettering cut out, because I thought it looked really nice.
I don't have a packet.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got here late, that's my fault. Actually, I was
Thank
doing
you.
a good thing. I was visiting somebody who just had heart surgery, so. Okay.
So it'll look like the one they have for Canover Park, I put that on there as an example. But it'll say Cardinal Park. I didn't draw the cardinals on there. I talked to John Bumbauer, and he drew me up some examples of signs that would be cut out just like this wood in front of the town
Oh,
hall.
yeah,
He did make one comment I thought was real interesting. He said, putting black and red together, the sign is the two colors. He said, you won't see the red. He said, they're too, he told me what the word was. They just are too strong together. He said, now if you outline the cardinal with white, you'll see it, but he said, otherwise it's just going to be up there. So I had him do some drawings. There's a page attached to your packet, but it's pretty light.
yeah.
Because I thought maybe we could put a 1 foot by 1 foot cutout sign on the upright on the post, and kind of make it stand out a little different
Instead
instead of cardinals on the sign.
but if it says Cardinal Park here, you wouldn't need Cardinal Park on each cardinal, would you? It says Cardinal Park on all
Oh,
of these two.
I was going to put it on those two.
On these two?
Yeah,
Okay.
up above and on that sign. I don't know what the group thinks of that idea.
I think it's fine.
The other thing that I did put on there and didn't know exactly how to do is we talked about making a smaller sign that says Ray River Field.
Oh, but we weren't gonna put it on here. We were gonna,
I said I don't know what we want to do.
oh, okay.
I don't know if I want that hanging below the Cardinal Park or not.
No, we talked about putting it
On
on
the
the fence or
announcer
on
stand.
that building that holds the stuff at that,
announcer
Oh,
stand or
diamond.
whatever, right?
So-
right on that fence or on that building that's right there.
So.
We
so-
weren't gonna attach it to this at all, I don't think.
Okay, I didn't think
Yeah,
we did. Okay, so
yeah.
I can have John drop another sign that says Ray River Park, by the way. If you didn't notice, he estimated the cost between $275 and $325, which
Okay.
I thought was pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Oh, very reasonable.
And the other one I didn't know if we wanted to do, if we wanted on one side to have the Cardinal Park, on the other side the commission members.
On what side?
Like on the polls, if one side we wanted to put Cardinal Park and the other one, the committee members are,
I don't know how the group feels about that. I'm throwing it out there.
Fine with me, I don't care.
I'm good either way.
I'm not into publicity, but whatever.
Okay, we're not gonna put it there.
Okay,
Is that okay with everybody?
sure.
So I'll just have one sign to mount to that, and then we'll have, just mount the other one to the building somewhere, okay?
Yeah. But yeah, I would have them go ahead and, like you said, do something that says regular or ball diamond or whatever. For the, either for the fence, for the ball diamond, or on the,
Oh, yeah,
have him draw something up for that.
I was just gonna have another 1 foot by 1 foot, maybe again, a cardinal and Ray River Field.
Yeah,
That sound good to everybody?
yeah. Ask
Same
him,
kind of cardinal we put
Yeah.
on
depending where it's put, ask him if that would be big enough, because if it's gonna be on the fence area, that might get lost. On that little building that,
I put it on the building.
yeah, then maybe it'll be okay. It might show up okay, okay.
I put on the option of either painting or powder coating. Powder coating would last much longer than painting, but I think it's more expensive, but I thought we'd find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also put on both the entrance and the walkways, the dirt's gonna be leveled to the edge of the concrete or asphalt and seeded.
Yeah.
That way the town doesn't get stuck with trying to seed 1,800 feet of walkway, all that.
Yep.
And the entrance, Shackley Street goes and there's about an 8-foot indent there right at the start of the park for parking, I think. I was gonna put the entrance sign off the parking lot, not off of Shackley Street, and be about 4 feet in, and then they'd have to pave through that, and they kind of have to hang over the north part of the east,
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to go along the north part of that easement there to miss all this stuff.
So 4 feet inside of where the parking area is. Sounds good.
And that's everything there. The walkways are gonna be approximately 1,886 feet. They're gonna tell us what they are when they measure it and lay it out, maybe plus or minus. The spec we got from Brooks was 6 feet wide with a 6-inch stone base, asphalt 2.5-inch base and 1.5-inch top. I have no idea if that's right or not, but I'm sure one of them will tell me if it's not. I put down that there'd be 4 4x8 bump outs off that walkway, and I've got those marked in red on here. I only have 3 of them.
Those are pink, but that's
Are
okay.
pink. Okay. They're pink.
These are pink.
I put one of them on the north walkway on the side where the town owns the lot. That's a nice shady little spot there. I put one over by the playground equipment, so you'd be looking back on the ball fields. I put one kind of in between the ball fields. I didn't put the 4th one. I thought about putting it at the south walkway, but it's really just a grass there. There's not much there, so.
Those 3 look good spots.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to somehow work with them that the asphalt and the pavilion get close enough together. They'll have to run some asphalt off the walkway to make it get to the pavilion where the 8-foot concrete, handicapped accessible, ADA compliant walkway is up.
If we could go back to the pavilion, do we have written somewhere, because we didn't say what kind of roof material or if the color costs more?
That is in,
Is it on here somewhere?
it's in the materials list.
Okay, so you have something else they're going to get with this?
Yeah, you've seen it before.
Yes, we have, yeah.
With each thing, there's 2 pages of material. It's simply gonna be, what posts are.
So you would just take the cost off of those if the costs are on there?
They didn't put the cost
They
on.
didn't put
it.
the
This is
cost on.
outliers. It's wherever they.
Okay, so it
choose
says
to
what
put
kind of
on.
roof material, cement floor, it says what
Yeah.
kind of post and,
And I'm gonna guess it's, see whether it's 4x4 or 6x6 posts. They drew it up, so I'm
Okay.
comfortable with what they
yeah,
Mike did. And I didn't mention, we had it before, no gutters, no electric, although Trent did run electric up to it where it's gonna be. And if we want electric at a later date, maybe a plug or 2, so if somebody brings hot dogs and they wanna have a crock pot, they could.
yeah.
There'll be bird screens, I want bird screening inside so the birds don't get up in the rafters. That was all what we had before. And the last thing down at the bottom, do we want to put a deadline for completion? Otherwise, it may be 2 years before they get to it. I think we got to put a deadline. And I'd suggest end of the year.
This is how fast you get your bids back.
Well, we're gonna give them a time frame on the bids, once we.
Yeah, once we get it, there'll be a time.
Yeah, that's. what
Bids
the town
have to be
always
in
says
by
it,
this
yeah.
date. And, but then, once the bids are accepted, so many months to complete. And maybe, Nick can help me with how much that should be.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to go with me and see Nick?
When do you plan on doing it?
I don't know, I gotta tell him we just hired him. And then see what he is. Are you interested in going?
I would be, I'm gonna be out of town the week leading up to the 4th of July, but in July, I would be pretty open.
I'm hoping we can get it done here yet this month.
Well, I got this week and next week, then I'm out of town for a week.
Okay, I'll see what he says, and I'll get back to you.
If
Okay.
Bob can't make it, I'm willing to go, just let
Okay,
me know.
I'd like somebody else to
Just
do
let me
it.
know when you get it scheduled.
Two people are better than one. And I don't want to say something that somebody else goes, that's not what we said. Okay, that's, any other comments on the pavilion, the walkway, or the?
Did we want to talk about which cardinal we wanted for the,
Oh, yeah, thank you, Deb. That's why 2 people are better than one. My preference is, there were 2 that had the wings out. I didn't care for those. There's
I
a better
like
drawing.
this one
here.
and this one.
Those are the 2 I like.
Those would be, either one of those 2 are fine with me.
I like the rounded top one.
this one?
Where it says the Cardinal Park.
It looks
underneath.
like he has some green leaves there on the drawing. You can't hardly see it. But it
On
looks
that,
like he's
but
drawn
yeah.
some leaves.
Yeah, no, I like that one, that's
Yeah.
fine.
That's fine.
We can go with that.
Yeah, either one of
I
them.
will, I will go ahead and have him go ahead and get started on that one. And the regular blue one.
Okay.
And we'll use the same cardinal and the same, both signs are gonna be like this.
Yeah.
One's gonna say Cardinal Park, one's gonna say regular field.
Okay,
That
Yeah.
way,
Consistency.
easy, consistent, keeps costs better.
thank you, Dick. Thank you very much. Okay. Dog park. Did you
I
bring
brought
that?
it up, and asked Tina if she wanted to be able to get it on the agenda. It did not make the agenda, I don't
Okay.
think, so we'll keep at it and see if it can be on this next month.
Yeah, I'd like to have councils
Yeah,
do or don't do. I don't know that that will
Well,
make
and
us do it.
yeah. I talked with Nick, he said, yeah, you want the council's input on that.
Yeah.
So,
Because there's insurance things and
mhm.
Yeah.
so that. And then the last thing, Agnes visited Nick and talked to him about the fact that the land was leased for no money to that, whether it be okay, so I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, because the area where the trails are is still, town owns the land. And it's part of the TIF district, since the TIF is kind of heavily involved in doing park kind of things right now. When I went to the Trails Committee meeting, they were talking about any funding, could the town help? And I thought, well, it's part of the TIF district. I can ask the TIF board if they'd be interested in helping to fund some of the costs, because you saw the sign, because that's the sign we're looking at there. They're doing 2 of those, but they don't have the funding for both right now. They want to put one in Bern and one in Geneva.
Do they have funding for burn?
I don't know if somebody donated money for it or how it went. I think they think they're going to have that, because that's where they're going to have the opening, July 12th. So I'm thinking that one might be in place, but they have another meeting this Thursday. I'll find out probably more this Thursday. But because they're waiting now on some of these grant funds now, because everything's kind of tied up right now with the state. So it was just brought up, and I said, well, I can ask the TIF board if they'd be interested in helping. This one would then be the one down here in Geneva, that if our board would want to help donate funds towards getting a sign up here. My understanding it would be across the trail, either by the restroom area is where they're thinking, rather than at where the roundabout is. They would probably put it closer to where the parking and the restroom area is, because it would be most visible there. Plus you see it when you turn off the highway, and they put all those flower boxes in. So somewhere in that location is where they think it would be.
Is that far down, part of the TIF district?
We don't clear to the county road.
Mhm.
County was clear to the county.
Okay.
Can't be across the street.
No, not across the highway, yeah. Or across the
950.
950, yeah.
Well, I don't want Vern to have one without us at least contributing one to have one on our end.
And I think if we have funds that we could do it, you had made a suggestion, possibly donate an amount. They can put it towards the sign.
How much does it, like their entire sign, what did they say it
I
costs?
think I had all that with me last,
27,000 is what they
for the two of them, right? I
Yeah,
think
but
the
like
27 was for
here's
the two of them.
$60,000, I think, for two of them.
I think that was for some other stuff
Let's
too.
see, cost is about 27,000.
It's for
Per
two
sign.
structures.
No, the total labor was 54,900.
I'm looking.
60,100 was powder coating.
I'm looking on here, the Canopy Trail and Archway, tall brick pillars, wrought iron sign, cost is 27. Please note that that's a quote for two structures, with one in Geneva and one in Bern, is what their letter says.
I think that's just the sign, and then
Oh, there's probably cost to
the brick
install.
pillars are, one brick pillar to support the sign is another 5,700.
To support a metal sign. They're gonna put up another sign to put all their board of directors and everybody on. Does that help you?
This is, I'm not
This is a
interested-
separate one here.
I'm not interested in contributing to the one that puts board of directors
No.
trails on. But this one that they have drawn up from.
Right. That's the one I thought was like gonna be half.
54,900
5,400?
for two of them, 60,100 with powder coating.
4 foot, yeah, so to put the two signs,
Okay.
the total
So
is,
this is a lot of the labor. Labor is terrible.
Get out there and do it for 'em, Agnes.
Yeah, right. I don't know doing that stuff. Huh. One with that letter that says,
well, I bet the metal sign
oh, there
is
you go.
27, the two metal signs are
The
27.
metal part
And
that is
then
part of the sign.
the rest of this,
60,000.
the footers, the
Yes.
concrete to install the sign,
Yeah.
is another 55,000. So you're talking 20, 55, 65, 75,
Well, it says
82,000
60, doesn't it say total cost, or that's without the? that's
with powder coat.
With powder coat, that
Yeah.
would be to do it all,
Yeah, for 60,100 would be both signs.
if they did a
Yeah.
powder coat, but you're right, powder coating's a lot
So-
more expensive,
The one down here would be around 30,000.
About 30 grand.
approximately, yeah.
I'm just throwing a number out, do have to, 15,000.
Where will that leave us on funds for our project? Because I want to make sure we can get our projects done.
I did bring my book.
Well, do we have it from the last, don't we have like 200 something
Spend it now.
allocated
Yeah,
this
but I
year?
didn't bring it.
200 some
last time.
thousand.
He may have it.
I may,
Probably had it.
yeah.
It seemed like we had $290,000 appropriated this year,
Yeah,
and we probably got a little bit more than that,
Okay.
depending on taxes come in. So yeah, we probably will be
it'll be okay.
And like I said, I don't want Geneva to not have the sign the firm does. And they may be able to use that for some kind of match to help them get the rest of the money or whatever. That's my opinion, is you guys have your opinion, speak on.
I think they would be extremely happy if we would just consider doing something, so I think 15,000 sounds reasonable, but I'm glad you're throwing a number out.
You guys okay with that?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we donate 15,000 to South Adams Trail, to be applied to the cost of erecting a sign, which you
I'll second that motion.
We got a second, motion second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
who seconded it?
I didn't.
You'll make sure they find out about that at the meeting.
Thursday, we have a meeting Thursday, so.
Anything else we need to discuss?
I'm just gonna throw out there, as I look at SB, Senate Bill 1 and how it affects property taxes and how it's cutting for councils and all that. But if you look what it does for TIF districts,
We're
it's
all
the complete
right.
opposite. It's
I heard that.
large increases,
It is, yes,
considerably.
yes.
So,
Yeah, well, and that won't take effect till next year, I don't think.
right.
But we haven't got our tax check yet from the county. That should be coming shortly. They have to have it out by the 30th. So we'll see how much it is this year. I'm always surprised.
Yep.
As soon as I find out,
Gonna be
I'll let
higher.
you know.
But I have seen that estimate as well.
And I think it has a lot to do with because of the way they're limiting on 1 and 2 exemptions. Category the 3% is going to continue to go up. Assessed value, so that, and all of ours is in the 3%, the business district. So that's why it's going to go up considerably. But I mean, it's a large number for any TIF district. Not just ours. It has a complete opposite effect is what it's having
I
on
haven't
Kansas.
read enough about the TIF. I'm pretty good on the SB1 and what they're gonna do with lit in 28.
Yeah, that's going to be a
That's not
problem.
so bad.
That's going to be a problem too. But
It's just how it's organized, I think. I think the money might still be similar.
no, if you're dropping it from 375 to 29.
Or will we drawing 375 anywhere?
No, but you're not. But some places are up against the max. So
For some places then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
Move to adjourn.
I second.
Moving